Once again, my buddy Beth and I are on a Civil War battlefield. You can tell she's pretty excited. Well, hi there. It's another episode of American Stories with Travis Ayers, and we are back on a Civil War battlefield today. And we're looking at the anniversary, the 162nd anniversary of the Battle of Pea Ridge, the largest battle fought in the American Civil War west of the Mississippi. 16,000 Confederate troops in combat against 10,000 Union troops here on March 7th and March 8th of 1862. And most historians will tell you that's the dates of the Battle of Pea Ridge. But actually, the battle started on March 6th. And that's our story today on this episode of American Stories. And the battle didn't start here on these acres where the national park is. The battle actually started on March 6th, 10 miles back that way in the direction of Bentonville, Arkansas, my hometown. Yeah, how cool is that for a history writer to live 10 miles from a major Civil War battlefield? So that's our story today. Let's head to Bentonville and find out about the beginning of the Battle of Pea Ridge. Well, here we are on the town square of Bentonville, Arkansas. Most of these buildings are historic, but they don't go back to the American Civil War. They were built in the years after the Civil War, a lot of them in the late 1880s. And the courthouse here, I believe that was built in the mid-1930s. But there were a few buildings around the town square here. And in March 6th of 1862, this would have been a very busy area because General Franz Sigel, a German general out of St. Louis in command of a German division of troops of the Union Army, was kind of out on his own, away from the main Union Army, which was encamped back around Little Sugar Creek, a few miles east of here. So Sigel was a little extended. He was an adventurous sort of guy, kind of did what he wanted to do. But he was about to meet another adventurous sort of guy who did what he wanted to do, and his name was General Van Dorn, commander of the Confederate troops that were coming up from the south. So Sigel, Wild and Crazy Sigel, and Wild and Crazy Van Dorn are about to meet. Sigel decides at this moment that he's hungry, and he heads down that street, what is now Central Avenue, to have breakfast at the Eagle Hotel. Behind me is the beautiful and historic Massey Hotel building. It's no longer a hotel, there's a bike shop there right now. But before that, back in 1862, there was another hotel that sat on that very spot called the Eagle Hotel. And that's where General Franz Sigel decided he wanted to have breakfast. He walked into the Eagle and ordered his breakfast, and he was just about to dig into his ham and eggs when one of his troopers spots a huge contingent of Confederate soldiers coming down this street, which is now Central Avenue in Bentonville. That trooper hops on his pony, rides back up to what was then the Eagle Hotel, runs into the dining room and tells General Sigel, "The rebels are in the street." So like I said, Sigel didn't get to finish that breakfast. With the Confederates converging on the Bentonville town square, Sigel wisely mounts up with his troopers and they head east out of Bentonville, trying to reconnect with the main Union Army out at Sugar Creek Valley. For the next 4 to 5 hours, there will be a running battle between the blue and the gray. It was likely here, right near the current neighborhood market, about a mile east of Bentonville, that the Union gunners turned back in this direction and unleashed their cannons on the advancing Confederates. The barrage slowed, but didn't stop the rebel advance. And continuing eastward, we come to, the much talked about fork in the road, Battlefield Boulevard. Of course, Battlefield Boulevard was not named Battlefield Boulevard when the armies went down this road. That came years later, obviously. What we're in search of are the old roads that the Union Army would have taken to get down to Little Sugar Creek. And I believe that we're just about to find one, Spring Valley Road. Let's see if we can connect with some history here. We're following Spring Valley Road through the valley that it's named after, Spring Valley, which will take us east down into Little Sugar Creek Valley. And I believe, and I think for good reason, that this is the main route that the Union Army took to get to Little Sugar Creek. And I'll tell you why. Years ago, a good friend of mine named Darrell Price and I took a complete Saturday, and we started off on the Bentonville Square. We had old maps and documents, and we dedicated that whole Saturday to tracing the route of the Union Army and the pursuing Confederate Army all the way from the square in downtown Bentonville out to the battlefield at Pea Ridge, the modern-day Battlefield National Park. And we discovered this road, Spring Valley Road, and tracing on the old maps, both Darrell and I came to the conclusion that this was the main route. Could I be wrong? Could Darrell be wrong? Possibly. I don't think so. So Darrell's gone now, but the memories of that day and the memories of my friendship with him, they continue. I'm standing in scenic Little Sugar Creek Valley, and this is where Sigel made his stand. He turns and faces Van Dorn's attacking Confederates here, and he gets reinforcements. Fortunately for Sigel, he gets some reinforcements, some heavy reinforcements from the main army, General Curtis's main army, which was on the bluffs a little further down this road. Sigel gets his reinforcements. He's able to fight the Confederates to a standstill here at Little Sugar Creek. It's a hot battle. Sigel was attacked 3 separate times by the Confederates, but he finally holds them back, and as night falls, Sigel is able to retreat down this road and reconnect with General Curtis's main army. As for the Confederates, they have somewhat of a victory. They've driven the Union forces for quite a few miles on the first day of the fighting, and they occupy the entire valley floor here. As a matter of fact, written accounts say that you could see campfires, Confederate campfires, for over 3 miles. Well, it certainly wasn't easy being a foot soldier under the command of General Earl Van Dorn. Van Dorn was a graduate of West Point, a Mexican war hero, and a veteran of the Comanche Wars in Texas. But basically, Van Dorn was a cavalry officer. And in the days leading up to the fight at Bentonville and here at Sugar Creek, Van Dorn treated his foot soldiers pretty much like they were cavalry. They marched long distances for the 2 days before the battle, went into battle for 4 to 5 hours. They were footsore, tired, and hungry. In the next 48 hours, Van Dorn would ask much more of these men. And also in the next 48 hours, Van Dorn would make one of the most brilliant maneuvers of the entire Civil War. And then he would make one of the war's biggest blunders. But that's an American story for another time. Today, we're remembering the brave men who fought here, March 6, 1862, 162 years ago at Little Sugar Creek, on what I call the first day of the Battle of Pea Ridge. This is Travis Ayers. Hope you'll join us next time for another American story.